Hello everybody and welcome back. I am the Pompkin King, and in today's episode we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Pure Imagination in Planet Coaster. In the previous episode we went ahead and built the Barnum's American Museum, and I promised that we would be doing some interiors in today's episode, so let's go ahead and dive straight into that. As we come inside the museum, I'm not going to bother doing a whole lot in the way of interior design. You won't be able to see the inside of the building anyway, but I did want to have guests be able to walk in and out and make it seem as though it was actually being used rather than just a set piece. So here we're building ourselves a restaurant I'm calling Barnum's, and I'm putting as many table expansions on as possible. I'll be honest, I don't really know how the table expansion things work. You get it paired with the little module, but other than that, I don't really know exactly how to get the number of tables that I want, or if it matters the configuration of the modules or whatever, so I'm just kind of playing around with it. Get it hooked up to our path, slap on a roof, and we're G to G. Next up, we're going to put in a few restrooms over here, and we've got a couple of souvenir stands. We have one of each. We've got the hats, we've got the Just a Memento, and we've got the Looney Balloons all in there. So that should hopefully attract enough guests to this part of the park that they will be able to travel through the circus node entirely. Something that I've noticed is that guests haven't been coming into the circus node as much as I should like. They mostly get stuck in the steampunk and horror nodes. Next up, we're going to be building ourselves a waxworks museum. This is based on the Madame Tussauds Waxworks in Amsterdam. I went off a photo reference from Google Earth so that I was able to replicate this at scale for this build and have it be accurate on all sides. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. Again, this is one of those things that I really wish we could do more interior things. Frontier, if you're listening, I would love to be able to have the ability to design interiors for a lot of these buildings and structures. This is going to just be a shell. It's a facade. There's nothing on the inside because I have no ability to really make a Madame Tussauds in Planet Coaster. But this is photo accurate to the one in Amsterdam, so I'm very happy with how it turned out overall. Building the Madame Tussauds and also the Barnum's Museum are kind of important because they're transitionary pieces from the circus node into the city studio node, which is going to be right next door. Now, obviously, we want to have it so that it flows from one to the other without any major disruption. But it is tricky trying to figure out exactly what buildings I want to include. They have both the circus theme and the city theme involved. Here we have it in situ. And right next door to Madame Tussauds, I've gone ahead and put in the Cirque du Soleil building. This was actually from the Steam Workshop. I'll link in the description to the creator. They did a fantastic job here. And they have trapeze artists and everything on the inside, as well as some food stands on the back, which I do need to hook up with pads. But I think it's really cool that we have this building, and they did a great job replicating the Cirque du Soleil from, I want to say it's Vegas. And now we're going to be building our own circus. So with this whole time we've been building to the Big Show Circus. You've seen advertisements for it throughout the camp and throughout our various builds, and now it's time to do the actual circus itself, the Big Top. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, this gave me such a headache. I had such a hard time trying to figure out how to build the circus tent. What you're seeing here is the final version where I will have it constructed modularly in 3 modules one large circus tent on the inside and two smaller tents on the outside that are going to be fused together to make one big top tent. That said, what you're not seeing is the 9 hours that I spent trying to design a proper multi-face convex big top tent. It is extremely hard to make complex curves in this game because of the nature of how you have to do it. Basically, if I wanted to make complex curves, I would have to go in with, say, the square simple shape tool, and then one square at a time make the individual placements, and that would take forever. So I just did not have the time or the patience for that, so this is how I do my quick and dirty solution. I am vexed that it is just a shell. I would love to have stuff on the inside. My vision is actually that this tent would be the location of the Cirque restaurant. Now, this is something that I've had an idea for in real life for quite a while. Have it be sort of a dinner theater in the same sort of vein as medieval times or one of those themed restaurants, but it's set up as a circus. And you have performers, there's jugglers, there's acrobats, there's dancers, there's all sorts of cool acts and stuff inside while you're eating, and you get to have the experience of dinner and a show. And I think that would be awesome to have in real life, so I'm including it here in Planet Coaster. What I'm doing right now is I'm finding all of the talent. By that I mean I'm going through and I'm finding all of the different types of animatronics and stuff that they have in the game that I might be able to purpose towards circus acts here. And then I'm just sort of laying out this camp. And the idea would be that this camp here is just the outside performers trying to lure you into the big top tent where the real show is going. I did get this Madame Leota floating head ball from the Toolkit workshop. It's part of the Haunted Mansion, and I was able to use it here. I think it's a good placement near the Zordon fortune-telling booth. And then I'm just kind of going through and trying to figure out exactly what I would like to place where. Now, I do have some really awesome items here from the workshop. I managed to get a few clowns and a few games and some other stuff, and we'll take a look more at that in a moment. I made myself a little lion cage here, which I'm just going to put over in the corner. I'm not sure why they have audio animatronic crocodiles and hippos, but they don't have lions. That seems like that would be perfect for a jungle ride, but we'll work more on that when we get to the jungle part of the park. And here I'm just building a little ring for a horse act. I do have these audio animatronic rearing horses, and I figured I'd arrange them around in the ring so that I can have the horses all rearing in sequence. I used a policeman as sort of the ringmaster here. And I also have these giraffe statues that I threw in as well. I got those from the workshop as well. Down in the camp, I'm using a lot of these creepy clowns that I got from the workshop around as sort of like the carnival workers who are running the different games and shows and stuff down here at ground level. We'll take more about that when we look at the cinematic. And here I'm trying to figure out how I could simulate someone being shot out of a cannon. It was tricky, and ultimately I found that I had to use a sequence for this. I've never done sequences in this game before, so this is kind of an interesting experiment. But when I was finally done, honestly, it doesn't look so much like she's being shot out of the cannon as the cannon's kind of knocking her off her feet, but I'll take it for a first attempt. This is something I really enjoy, coming up with all the individual stories and the theming, not just of the land, but, you know, trying to think about how I would set things up if I were in charge of this actual circus. Here we've got ourselves just a random sitting guy, and I'm going to go ahead and make a snake charmer here. I've got one of the wall pieces that I'm using as a carpet. Have him sit on top of this little box that I recolored to look like a cushion. And he's got a cobra in front of him. We have hippos, and I'm using some of the space people in place of clowns. From a distance, kind of can't tell the difference, so I'll take that too. Here is the second sequencer I wanted to do. I wanted to try and do one of those extreme high dive acts where they jump off the platform and they land in like a pool that's only like about a foot deep. I had a hard time getting the timing right for this, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out in the end. And we'll see that when we do the cinematic walkthrough of this area. Alright, just painting in the last little bits of terrain here and throwing in some benches all around this particular part of the park, and then we'll be ready for our cinematics. And this pretty well completes this circus node. I'm very excited. There is some space left in the node here, but I am going to probably be filling that with buildings so that I can blend it into the city studio node. And so the circus is come to town, and we are pretty well all set. And you can see that high dive I was talking about earlier. Getting the timing right on that was a real pain, but definitely worth it. Got all the horses rearing in seat. Cool. We've got our sort of barbershop quartet singing over here, and Zorda and Madame Leota is ready to tell your fortune. We've got a caged lion here. It's just a statue, so you do have to use your imagination a little bit. But we've got our circus animals. We have a hippo and a couple of giraffes. And the snake charmer right here. And I just gotta say, that cobra is huge. And these animals here, I imagine, would be like the ones where you put the coin in and you can ride up and down on them. We have a couple of jester jousters. And the big king coaster over here. And we've got the outside wire axe for the trapeze. I've tried to sequence these in such a way that they look like they're moving from one side to the other in terms of time. So as they do their flip and their catch, they bring it over to this one just as this one goes around, and then this one does another catch. Coming down to ground level, let's go take a look at some of the stuff going on here at the circus. We, of course, have our hot air balloon. And this is one of my favorite acts. It's a piano-playing chicken. And you see this at county fairs all the time. There's also a couple of pachinko machines and a big metal monkey. And there's that cannon sequence I was telling you about. Honestly, my favorite part of this is that the zombie walks back holding her back like she hurt herself. How does a zombie go about hurting herself? I don't know. And we have a couple of clowns here who are standing by the organ. They're happy to see you. Totally not threatening at all. You know, we just have a whole bunch of happy little clowns. Just a bunch of happy clowns that are so pleased to see you. Look how big his smile is. He's just so happy to see you. Yeah, if you think clowns are scary, you probably wouldn't like my circus that much. But hey, I think it's fun. So we got ourselves set up with a claw machine, and that's going to wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe for more of the Pure Imagination content coming down the line. But until next time, I am the Pompkin King, and I will see you next time.